Okay, powers and roots. Hey, it's really like surds and irrational numbers. Now, we need to know what a surd is before we start. And you've got to think about your square roots. Now, your square root of 2 is a surd. Square root of 3 is a surd. Square root of 4 actually happens not to be a surd. Yeah, same as square root of 9 or the square root of 25. And the reason is we know what the square root of 4 is. It's 2. It's a nice number, it ends. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 25 is 5. Now, the square root of 2, we do know, but it's actually a number. If you type into your calculator, you get 1.41 and then loads of other numbers. Now, how many numbers do you think you get? You actually get an infinite amount. Now, this isn't a reoccurring decimal because it does not repeat. It will go on forever and it will never repeat. And this is why it's called a surd. So if we use 1.41, that's really an approximation of the square root of 2. So it's just a lot easier if we leave that as a square root of 2. The same as the square root of 3. Okay, that's going to be 1.73 something. But again, it goes on forever. It doesn't repeat. Now here's your starter task, and it's a similar starter task to what we do when we do laws of indices. This will really help you out. Write down your first 15 square numbers and your first 5 cube numbers. I'm telling you, writing down your square numbers will really help you out in this lesson. So even though you did it before, do it again, please. Right, here's the answers. If you didn't actually look on the left to see that the answers were there. Right. As I said, it's really handy to have. Right, next bit, what's square root of 25? I've already said it, and I said it was 5. But I'll be honest with you, I was lying because you also have to consider minus 5. Okay, so type this into your calculator, see if you notice a pattern. I'm just going to type down the answers. So this is 40, 60, it's 50, and this is 20. And remember, you can do plus minus, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus. Okay, do we notice something? Well, if you look at this, 16, square root of 16 is 4, square root of 36 is 6, square root of 25 is 5, square root of 4 is 2. So really, this 1,600, I could really break it up into the square root of 16 times the square root of 100. And I could do these in my head, I don't have to remember anything. Same as square root of 36, so 3,600. I know square root of 36 times the square root of 100. Square root of 36 is 6, square root of 100 is 10, 6 times 10 is 60. So that's one of the first rules of surds that we need to know, really, is that like a square root of A times square root of B is the square root of A times B. Okay? And we can use these to work them out. We'll focus on this one here for the time being. So square root of 11 times square root of 3. 11 times 3 is 33, so that's square root of 33. Easy. Square root of 5 times square root of 10. At the moment, it's square root of 50. Now we can simplify them, but we'll simplify these a little bit later. Square root of 2 times square root of 18, square root of 36. Oh, hang on a minute. We know the square root of 36 is 6, so it's going to be plus or minus 6. Square root of 27 times 3. 27 times 3 is 81, so it's going to be the square root of 81. And always remember to put a square root. Oh, 81 is a square number, so it's going to be plus or minus 9. Remember, these come up in non-calculator papers. Right, let's do another one. 2 times 32 is 60, the square root of 64. 64 again is a square number, so it's going to be plus or minus 8. Right, guys, go. Work your way through these. Do them about your calculator as quick as you can. Simplify them if you can. Pause the videos. I'm going to show you the answers. Now, and again, the only difference is obviously if this should be plus or minus, plus or minus, plus or minus, plus or minus. Right, now we can simplify surds. Now we know it's 6, but I can't show you a lot of examples of these before these numbers get really big, so I'm going to show you some really easy ones. Now, rather than just thinking it's 6, let's do it a slightly different way. And what we can do, we can break these up into smaller square numbers. So ask yourself, are there any square numbers that go into 36? Now I'd look at my table of square numbers and I'll just essentially work my way through them. So work out the lowest one, which is 1, but that don't help us, so ignore it. My next one's 4. Does 4 go into 36? Oh, actually does. Yeah, square root of 36 is the square root of 4 times the square root of 9. Yeah, so square root of 4 times square root of 9. Now we actually know these because these aren't surds. Yeah, square root of 4 is 2. Yeah, plus, and the square root of 9 is 3. Okay? So what we then do, we multiply them. So 2 times 3 is 6. So square root of 36 is 6. Okay. Now square root of 900, again you might look at this and see it, but ask yourself logically, yeah, are there any square numbers that go into 900? And work your way through the list. Okay. Now I'd look at this, I know it's going to be the square root of 9 times the square root of 100. The square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 100 is 10. 3 times 10 is 30. So I know the square root of 90 is plus or minus 30. So you've got the square root of this is 10,000. Now ask yourself if there's any square numbers going to that. Now actually no, 100 is a square number, and that can be written as a square root of 100 times square root of 100. I know the square root of 100 is 10, so I can write this as 10 times 10, which is 100. So I know the square root of 10,000 is. So work your way through the questions. I know the top ones you can work out by the top of your head, but try and break them into small square numbers and give the answers. I'll work your way through that list of square numbers that you had earlier. Okay, here's my working out. The first bit of numbers I'll break it down into, and the answer then. There are different ways of doing this. Okay, let's do this one. Let's do the square root of 50. Now we're simplifying these now because 50 is actually a third. Square root of 50 is a third. Now ask yourself, is there any square numbers going to 50? And really you want to choose the biggest square number that goes into 50. Now I would actually get the square root of 25. It's going to be 2. And this messes us up a little bit because 2 is not a square number. So I can't make it into a whole number. I'm just simplifying it to try and make it smaller. The square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 2 I don't know. It's just going to be 2. So it's just 5 root 2. Okay, next one. Square root of 72. Now, again, you want to really aim for your highest square number. So the highest square number goes into 72 is actually the square root of 36 times the square root of 2. Okay, the square root of 36 is 6, so it's going to be 6 root 2. But you might have done it a slightly different way. So let's say I didn't choose 36. Let's say I chose a different one. Let's say I said the square root of 9, because 9 does go into 72. And 9 times 8 is 72, so the square root of 9 times the square root of 8 is 72. I then simplified to get 3 root 8. But of course, I've got 2 different answers now. So what I'd actually look at, I'd look at the square root of 8, because that can be simplified again. And 8 can be simplified to be the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. Okay. Now the square root of 4 is 2. So I'm actually left with 3 times 2 times the square root of 2. 3 times 2 is 6. So again, I've got 6 root 2. So what I always do is look at the third and see if that can be simplified any further. Okay. Let's do 48. So I've done the square root of 16 times 3. Yep. The square root of 16 is 4, so it'll be 4 root 3. Okay. You don't need to put plus or minus, by the way. Right, last one. Let's do the square root of 2 times the square root of 14. And I want you to multiply them together and simplify. Now, let's multiply them together. So that's 2 times 14, okay, which is 28, root 28. It's important to put the square root. Now try and simplify 28. So ask yourself, is there any square numbers going to 28? So look at your list and work your way down them. Well, actually, no, it's going to be the square root of 4 times your square root of 7. The square root of 4 is 2, so this can be written as 2 root 7. Okay. Now here's questions, easy, medium, hard. Yeah. Obviously, green ones you just simplify. Got an example there. Yellow ones, multiply them first, then simplify. Now I didn't show you any examples of the pink ones, but essentially all you do is you do your whole numbers first. So 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 5 is 15. Look at this square root, see if you can simplify some. Some of these come up to be whole numbers. Okay, pause the video if you need to. Show the answers. Here's your answers to across your work.